Have you ever wondered why some spiritual teachers just rub you the wrong way? They give you the heebie jeebies, the creeps. It's because generally they're being inauthentic. Unless they're an Eckhart Tolle type character where they are actually coming from a place of presence and calm, and that's how they speak naturally, more often than not, they're coming from a fake persona. Because we all have personality. Personality continues before you were born and after you die. So your natural pre-inclination to humor, to talent, to a going into something like intellect or knowledge or writing or whatever your base foundation is, that's where things emanate from naturally. So if you're naturally kind of a funny person, you have to express that appropriately. And when you're not, you're being inauthentic. You're being fake, you're being phony. And if you've been on the path at all, you can pick that shit up so easily. And then they just give you the creeps. They give you the heebie-jeebies. That foo-foo bubblegum type spirituality, it just won't resonate with you. That's something that's built for the masses, and it has its own merit. It's necessary in its own way. Because there are not levels, but there are degrees of spirituality, and that's where we're supposed to be at. That's why judging people is never really a good process, because we can't be judged intrinsically. On a spiritual level, nobody really can be judged. People are exactly where they need to be. If you encounter people that are always angry or always sad or whatever, they're in that position because that's what their soul needs to recover their true selves. And you don't know what lifetime they're in, what incarnation they're in. Those things are outside of our spectrum of understanding until they're not. So there may be entities on this earth that are in a place to see those things, but chances are they're not going to tell you how intrinsic it is, how intricate it is, because it would more than likely go over our heads. There are some things the human mind cannot interpret. You have to go to the spiritual mind, the soul mind, and that's in extreme deep silence and stillness. So chances are, if you got it, you wouldn't really get it. It's something that can't be told. It's like the first line in the Tao Te Ching, which is, "The way that is spoken is not the true way." It's an experience, not a learning. Yeah, if that makes any sense. So we don't learn things, we experience things. And through that experience, either we take on more baggage or we let go of that baggage. And that's growth. So in deep states of stillness, deep states of silence, things blossom like a lotus. They just open up. And more often than not, you're not going to be able to explain that to anybody because it's a very personal experience. And they need to have that same personal experience. So I've said it in other videos that gurus, avatars, ascended masters, those type of entities are just a finger pointing. Go that direction, and go this direction. So Ananda Miyama said that the spiritual path are like winding trails up a mountain. And we all want to get to the top of the mountain because that's where Source abides, right? And there are all these little squiggly lines going up the mountain. And there's some straighter lines. And then there is just the acknowledgement that there are no lines. You are already at the top of the mountain. You just have to let go of all the baggage that you've brought along to truly see it. So that's what spiritual teachers are technically supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be pointing. Go over there. Because words don't do it justice. Words don't give you the true meaning and presence of presence and meaning. It's very individual. And so we can't get down on anybody really, but we can look at things and go, that's not mine, that's not for me. And it's a relief. It should be just a relief. There shouldn't be a judgment behind it. It should just be like, a nice warm shower. So as you go along on your journey, you become less interested in making outlandish observations, outlandish understandings of what you think a thing is. I've always found it funny to listen to certain spiritual teachers and they're talking about enlightenment, because the thing is enlightenment isn't a spoken thing. It's an experienced thing. And again, they're just a finger pointing. Look over there. Watch your breath. Concentrate, focus. Be at one with the idea of oneness. Do away with duality and focus on the singularity. The singular, the one. Because every guru is still just one finger pointing. When you find your path, the thing that works really well for you, whatever, it doesn't really matter as long as that path is peaceful and it's not hindering other people's growth or their understandings or their beliefs or whatever. Because as you go along, the identity recedes. You become less of who you thought you needed to be to survive and more of the thing you were before you started. Be like a child. Christ talked about it. Buddha talked about it. Lao Tzu talked about it. Ramana Maharishi. I mean, you can name off Mooji, Papaji, all of them. Nisargadatta, the entire slew of self-realized beings. Osho. They all came to the understanding of singularity. And that's where the secret is. It's not in the many, it's in the one, and the one is in the many. All is in the all. What you're looking for is already trying to look for you. And when you let go of the little things that you consider to be identity, it's revealed. It reveals itself. Because it's your true nature. It's who you are underneath the clothes and the skin and the bones and the assertion of assertions. So being spiritual doesn't mean being humble. It means being correct in your presence. You're not going to let somebody run over you. You're not going to let somebody give you something that you can't possibly give back in return. And there's a holiness in that. So every step forward that you're making in path, God's making 3 steps forward towards you. And it's a constant thing. It doesn't stop. The ego is going to come up. Those traumas, those pains, those things that you've endured are always going to rise to the surface. It's like clarifying butter. The more you process your bullshit, the more bullshit rises to the top. It's a little easier to see. So it's like making ghee. You slowly melt the butter, and then the fat just naturally comes to the top, and you can skim it off, and you're left with ghee. And it's beautiful and it tastes great and you can use it for all sorts of different things. That's what you're looking for. Now, there's something even more intrinsic to this. As there are gurus that are fingers pointing, you are your own finger pointing. You are the guru that you seek. You are the thing for which you've sought your whole life. But you have karmic responsibilities. And those karmic responsibilities naturally rise to the surface so you can see them a little more clearly and skim them off the top. And that's tantric. There's ascetic and there's tantric. Tantric is going into the karma. Ascetic is receding from the karma. So like dry fasting, living off the light, as it were. Allowing for allowing. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I know that sounds old and really cliche, but it technically is the truth. We are energies projecting a hologram of self into the world, giving it pain, giving it desire, and trying to figure out what all that means. Because most of the things in our lives are projections of other people, our parents, authority figures, friends, lovers. They're just projections. I want you to be this for me. I want you to hear my vulnerability, which is fine. And you can listen to somebody's vulnerability, but you can't fix their vulnerability. And if they aren't able to tell you in a way that is authentic of how their vulnerability needs to be seen, you're not going to see it. You might as well walk around like this all day. So it's very important for us to listen to people very clearly, get into a state, a meditative state, when you're listening to people, when you're listening to yourself, when you're trying to clarify the butter. So, clarify the butter. Love you.